Welcome to Reality is Undefeated. I'm Matt Gatewood. Thank you for tuning in. So Alvin Kamara got off pretty easy today. 30 hours of community service. Got to pay $100,000 to the victim. Got a felony battery charge reduced to a misdemeanor charge of breach of peace. I don't even know what breach of peace is. I have no idea. The first time I ever heard of it. I guess that's some, rich football player charge. Okay, you get into some stuff and you just so happen to do something to a black man, you get breach of peace. I have no idea. I just find it funny how when a black man is a victim of a crime that's done to him by another black person who isn't the police, we can care less. All right, we can care less. The difference between Darnell Green and Tyree Nichols is Tyree Nichols died and it was done to him by police. What Chris Rock say? Selective outrage? It's a joke, man. This man has not been held accountable. And it's because they can care less because of who the victim is. I mean, it's received little to no media attention. 30 hours of community service, $100,000 to the victim for hospital bills that you caused. We already know it's going to be a dome full of people yelling, "Who dat?" cheering for that number 41 jersey to make it into the end zone. It's not going to be no accountability on that end. We'll see if the NFL does anything. They love sitting brothers down, so they might do something, but, the jury's still out on that. But it's ridiculous. And I know a lot of you guys aren't familiar with the story because, like I said, wasn't a lot of coverage on it. So, I'll actually read what happened to this brother, Darnell Green. A plea deal has been agreed upon in the case against New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara after he was allegedly part of the beating of a man outside a Las Vegas Strip nightclub. Kamara pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor charge of breach of peace. He would do 30 hours of community service and pay more than $100,000 to the victim for hospital bills. This case will be closed and Kamara will have 90 days to complete all conditions. A status check has been scheduled for October 12th at 9:30 a.m. to ensure those conditions are met. The case stems from an incident where a man was beaten at a Las Vegas nightclub. The victim, Darnell Green, told officers of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department that he was waiting outside an elevator at Dre's nightclub alongside a group of people, including the 4 suspects. When some elevator doors opened, Kamara put his hand on the victim's chest to stop him from entering the elevator, police said. According to police, after the victim pushed Kamara's hand off his chest, Kamara shoved him before another suspect, identified as Lamons, punched Green and knocked him back against a wall. The grand jury indictment said Lamons hit Green in the head, neck, or upper chest, and that Kamara then charged Green in order to strike or punch him about the head, neck, chest, upper back, and/or torso area. In February, video was obtained by 8 News Now investigators of the incident. The indictment reads, while Darnell Green was on the floor of a narrow hallway, Alvin Kamara continued to strike and/or punch Darnell Green with his right hand while Percy Harris joined his co-defendants by kicking and/or stomping about the head, neck, and upper torso area. After briefly attempting to pull their co-defendants off of Darnell Green, Christopher Lamons re-engaged by stomping and/or kicking Darnell Green about the body, and Darren Young joined in by delivering at least one kick and/or stomp to the lower body of Darnell Green. Prosecutors also alleged the 4 men, allegedly, avoided capture while leaving the scene, documents said. A confidential settlement between Kamara and Green was announced in a Tuesday release from Green's attorney, Anthony G. Busby. In a written statement, Kamara made a public apology to Green. Please accept my sincere apologies for the events of February 5th, 2022 in Las Vegas, the release said. An official from the National Football League released a statement saying, we have been closely monitoring all developments in the matter, which remains under review. Like I said, man, Kamara dodged a bullet. For his sake, I hope he learned something from this. I mean, you're not being held accountable much, but I really hope he learned something from it. It is a paid lesson. I'll give him that. It's a paid lesson. And we know we learn paid lessons. $100,000 to the victim, had to reach a private settlement, and, got to pay them lawyer fees. So it's a paid lesson nonetheless. But I really hope he learned something from this, man, because, like I say, this is the same thing we talk about with Ja Morant. The same exact thing, man. The nonsense. When you're in certain situations, this is nonsense. And that plea deal is just for Alvin Kamara. We'll see what happens with Chris Lamons. See what happened with the other 2. I mean, I don't think nobody else's pockets is that deep. So we'll see, where the prosecutors go as far as holding them accountable, right? And since we already here, I'm going to go ahead and play this video for y'all of the limo driver. They did an interview with the limo driver. They got audio from the limo of, Kamara and them talking in there after the incident, just so y'all can get the full scope. Fair use.
Now. It was so fast paced. It was so quick. Just me looking at him like, to me, it's just like, wow. To an 8 News Now investigators exclusive. That limo driver was the one behind the wheel minutes after a beating at a Las Vegas Strip nightclub. Prosecutors say 2 NFL players, including New Orleans Saint Alvin Kamara, are in this car. 8 News Now investigator David Charnes first with that video. Tonight, that limousine driver tells us what he remembers.
Let's go. Like, you gotta f this right now. This thing. What happened? Okay, man, just come on, let's get out of here, please.
A dash camera rolls as this SUV leaves the Cromwell on the Las Vegas Strip. Minutes earlier, a camera catches New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara, now Cincinnati Bengals cornerback Chris Lamons, and 2 other men allegedly beating a man outside a nightclub, leading to felony charges.
So, had you driven them to Dre's?
Yes. Yep, the night of, yeah.
The man behind the wheel is 30-year-old Jordan Morrison.
When you're picking them up, do you have any idea what had just happened minutes before?
Based on how they were coming to the vehicle, I know something did happen. I shouldn't know what until they start talking in the vehicle.
Video the 8 News Now investigators obtained show the group rushing into the SUV.
I kind of figured, uh-oh, they got into some trouble, and they're just trying to get away from it.
Once Chris back to myself, oh yeah, it's fine.
Morrison, stone-faced in the driver's seat, says he doesn't remember hearing what prosecutors call an admission.
Hey, I'm looking at him. I'm thinking he know her. Next thing I hear is, what? I got to go now, right now. I thought this was sleeping. I connected with that Johnson. I saw you connect.
What was your reaction when you saw that video?
Honestly, it kind of just brought back what they were saying. Because when I was driving, I didn't know what they were saying. I was just so tired out of it. I was on fumes.
Morrison no longer works for the limousine company. He says he'd like to believe the people he was driving around in the days before this recording were not the ones he saw in this video.
I was shocked because I didn't really see, the guy that was treating me like, really well to do something like that. But the one thing I always want to say is there's always 2 sides to the story.
Metro Police subpoenaed this dash cam footage shortly after the beating. A grand jury saw it and then indicted Kamara, Lamons, and those 2 other men, including the one you see there in the front seat. All 4 are due in court Thursday morning.
I mean, it's just what we do. And y'all be the judge, man. Y'all be the judge of what it is. I mean, there's no way I can support stuff like that. That's just me. But I know I'm built different. But y'all be the judge of that. I just got one question for y'all. Does it matter what we call each other when this is the type of stuff we do?